first taking, right? Taking on the suffering. So first taking from ourselves, and then once we have some feeling for that, it's kind of stable, then we move on to the friend and imagine taking on the suffering of the friend, then to the stranger. All right, so in front of you, imagine maybe, in whatever way feels natural to you, imagine a friend, and then a stranger, and then one enemy, one person we typically dislike. So, so that's why you imagine them in front and begin with one specific person from each group, and then if you like, you can expand that attitude out to more people from each of those groups. And then with giving, it's the same order. So begin by, I think last week we were meditating on taking from ourself, and then maybe moved on to a friend, I don't remember what. We'll begin by taking from oneself. I know some people, I've just seen recently, some people imagine like kind of splitting off a version of their self and imagine that in front, and then imagine taking from that version of the self. But I've never seen a authoritative text that says to do that. And for myself, I find that a bit uncomfortable. So, but if you find that more comfortable, that's also an option. Because taking from yourself, it is a bit, it's a bit not as straightforward how to do that as in regard to others, right? But I would suggest, the way I find comfortable is, so first of all, when we do taking, right, is taking on the suffering of others and putting it on our selfish attitude. So imagine your selfish attitude, this kind of malignant, malevolent, self-centered attitude is like a black ball in one's heart, and recognize how it's the source of so much misfortune and pain and suffering and disappointment and kind of, harmful actions of body, speech, and mind in this life and our countless past lives. So imagine this at one's heart. And then as you take on the suffering, so beginning with oneself, I would suggest just extracting, think of all the suffering in your body, in your mind, in the past, or even in your own future, that you have the potential, you have the karmic seeds to experience. So as you inhale, imagine like a magnet drawing forth graphite. Imagine drawing it all onto and putting it on this, directing it at this black ball in your heart, selfish attitude. And then as it comes into contact or comes close to that black ball, it transforms into powerful lightning beams or laser beams or lightning bolts, and then strikes the self-cherishing, and then gradually reduces it. So like that, meditate for a minute or two, taking upon one's own suffering. So that, and then as you do that, you imagine you become gradually more and more free from suffering. And you do all this with an attitude of compassion for yourself. Basically this is a meditation on compassion. So with a compassionate, caring attitude for oneself, wishing oneself to be free from suffering. Then visualize in the way I described. So as you, put your own suffering onto self-cherishing mind, also try to feel that this selfish mind, it reduces in strength and size, and you feel kind of the ease of release from it. more and more. Think of all the pain that goes with this, strong self-cherishing. When others criticize us, it is so painful. Worrying about what others think about us. Worrying about how we look. Worrying about, if we're going to have success or failure in the future. Getting so upset the way people treat us. Causes so much worry, and causes so much loneliness. Yeah. So then as you get a, sense of that, taking oneself upon oneself, then direct this attitude of compassion to a friend, and then a stranger, and then an enemy. I'll give you a few minutes now, so gradually at your own pace, in whatever way feels comfortable. Then imagine first may the suffering of this friend, may it ripen upon me so that they be free from it. Then as you draw it, as you inhale, with each inhalation, draw it into your heart and direct it at this selfish attitude. So their suffering comes out of them in the form of like black soot or smoke or like powder or graphite. Flows in. As it flows into you, it transforms due to your virtuous attitude, due to the power of your compassion. It transforms into a powerful laser beam or lightning bolt. Strikes the self-centered attitude at your heart and reduces it, gradually destroys it. And you become more and more free from that. And that knot, a knot of selfish concern. And feel the mind feels more and more at ease. And the person you're taking on the suffering, they become more and more free from suffering and the causes of suffering.